Hello, hi, Will Thunder Talks here with another video. I'm here talking about things that I think are interesting, and I've been reflecting recently on the idea of neurodiversity and me, what that means to me. For those who do not know, I'm dyslexic. I have a dyslexia diagnosis. Brain functions a little bit differently, and I think many a mental health professional, have queried other neurodiverse diagnoses with myself, and I think I've been very resistant to exploring those further because I'm concerned of the potential boundaries that they would impose on my life. And maybe that's an old school way of looking at it, maybe I'm in my little shame cave being like, well, I'm dyslexic and that's bad, so don't bring it up. When people ask me if I'm neurodiverse, somebody did at work the other day, one of the learners was just like, are you neurodiverse? Just really directly. It caught me off guard a bit. I was like, whoa, yes. But it had me reflecting on this because it makes me think about like how I mask, how I navigate social situations, my reluctance to get additional diagnoses. I guess I feel fairly functional. I know that I use a lot of anxiety and stress to push through sometimes when I have like a bunch of things to do. And there are definitely things I find hard about basic human existence. I like being in quiet environments. I get very hyper focused on things. A lot of healthcare professionals have been like, do you have ADHD, Will? Do you have autism? Both or either? And I'm like, not diagnosed. Certainly not. Kind of saying that isn't a thing. But I guess part of the school of thought I really prescribe to with neurodiversity, in a way, is like a contributor to those symptoms kind of coming through. I think this is the idea like Abel-Mati put down, was that like ADHD and trauma are naturally interlinked, right? So if you know anything about me and my life and what I've been through, I have ACEs. I have adverse childhood experiences. The vast majority of people do. Some are more impactful than others, and that's not really much to do with what actually happened, but how the individual felt about it, right? So for me, I came from a fairly poor environment. Lower middle class is what I would say. Lower middle class to working class is kind of the area I hover around. I'd say now I'm probably firmly in lower middle class, my kind of lifestyle. Lower middle, maybe. My previous job I was probably more middle class, and I lost my middle class job and I went back down to a lower middle class job. Fine with me, don't mind. Did mind at the time. I've processed that. I'm okay with it, and actually it probably allows me to be more authentic and open and me, because I feel the higher up class environments I go, the less authentic I get, which I don't think is good. So I feel very open and authentic in this current role and environment, which is awesome. But yeah, I guess that dyslexic shame is pretty real. I think there's a lot of masking I do. I think my type of dyslexia is not where I look at a page and I'm like, oh no, the words are moving around. Or there's like, I heard some people have like rivers between the words, and like lots of different like letter distortions on the page and stuff like that. I don't have any of that. None of that at all. For me, it's more like I struggle to use the foundational rules of words in my native tongue to sound out or figure out a word. So if you show me a new word, I'm going to mess it up. I'm probably, good chance, if it's like a sizable word that uses syllables I'm unfamiliar with from just a memory point of view, probably going to pronounce it wrong. How I get around this is I do rampant reading and learn a lot of syllables and just memorize them, and that masks my inability to use English grammar rules to actually read words I've never seen before. So I just brute force memorize syllables, and just commit them to raw memory, in very much a block way. So, gynecology is a random word that was pulled out of my head. I can only pronounce and read that because I know what gyno is. I know what ology means. Gynecology. I know what that. I can read that word. I can read the word dyslexic because I break it into syllables that I recognize. Dyslexic. I don't really understand the grammatical rules super well. They don't drop in my brain well. And I'm really glad for modern technology because it aids in my masking quest to not seem like a dum-dum. And I guess for me, I feel like a lot of my upbringing was kind of like, hey, you're a bit different to a lot of normal people, and we think you're kind of dum-dum. You do dumb things sometimes that you should really know by now. You're kind of a dum-dum. And I'm like, okay. So I carry around this kind of, thing on my shoulder, this chip on my shoulder. Oh, Will's a dum-dum. Unintelligent person, a stupido. And I really try to overcompensate for this a lot, especially when I was younger. I still do now in some ways. But I try to overcompensate this by hammering home on things I did know. I think it's why now when I get something right that's a good point, when I'm talking to people about something and I have a logical connection, I'm like, oh, like the rare moment in my emotional experience where I don't feel dumb. Oh, I want to hammer this home again. That felt good. And then I'll sometimes repeat the same point, but the conversation's kind of moved on. And it's kind of doesn't land the same, and it feels a bit awkward. I did that at work the other day, because I have such low expectations for my own intellectual capabilities, my own ability to know things and do things and have good thoughts and ideas and make good connections. And in a way, it's really counterintuitive, because I do a lot of normal things quite well, I think. But I also do a lot of things that aren't normal that some people would say is amazing pretty well, I would say. So I'm pretty good with computers. I can build a computer from scratch if you give me the parts. I can make music, a common trait among dyslexics and the neurodiverse. If you've seen any of my YouTube shorts, you'll see me busting out an instrument, multiple different instruments, synthesizers, ukuleles, guitars, bass guitars. I can play and talk, and I can sing, I guess. That stuff people would say is kind of cool and a special ability. And I can see and make different kinds of connections with information than other people might, because of my brain being put together in a different way. And that's been profoundly helpful in my personal and professional pursuits. I wouldn't change my brain really at all for a lot of things. I think I've got some pros and I've got some cons. Who doesn't? And that's cool. But I guess something I worry about probably in the back of my head is if I went and got a diagnosis and I got this potentially additional accommodations, or an autism diagnosis or an ADHD diagnosis, I would I feel like I would just kind of try less hard. I would put less effort into the things I care about, because I'd be like, oh, well, I can't do that because I have ADHD, so I have poor executive functioning skills, so I can't plan and execute things as well as neurotypical people. But I plan and execute things all the time. It's not like it's something I can't do. It's just harder in some ways. It's why I like a lot of the work I do when I get to work with other neurodiverse people, because I'm like, hey, I figured out some ways for this to work for me and my different kind of brain. Can I help you? I would like to help you. I think it also really helps my empathy. I think I don't think I would be anywhere near as empathetic as I am if I hadn't gone through what I've gone through, but also if my brain was not what it was. If I was not neurodiverse, I think I would find it harder to be more empathetic with a bunch of different people. Because I guess, as I mentioned before, I know what it's like to feel othered. I know what it's like to feel like an outsider, or like the stupid person, or like the incompetent person, or I've had an experience of a lot of these negative emotions, right? The fat guy, and fat in my head links to stupid very closely. And I think all of that really fuels my ability to understand differences in the mind, because I've had a different mind with a lot of people, I felt. Which is why I think people who are particularly perceptive can pick up pretty quickly that I am very clearly neurospicy. And part of me is really proud of that. Part of me feels profound shame in that, because I think, as I think the person pointed out that I was talking about, who kind of went, you're neurodiverse, aren't you? I think it's a lot more chill now. I think people are like, yeah, brain difference is cool. And I'm really glad it's like that, and that's awesome. It wasn't like that when I was growing up. It was not like that when I was growing up. Not at all. And that's really affected me emotionally, I think, and in how much I at my core can accept myself sometimes. But I really feel like I'm living the life of somebody who's accepted themselves, and then sometimes I just get pulled back into this, nah, you're dumb. You're dumb. You're a dumb. Don't worry about it, you're a dumb. And I guess I think there's just a lot of emotional information in my head that I need to sift through. So that's neurodiversity and me, my dyslexic shame. You've been wonderful, and I've been Will. I'm going to leave it there. Take care, and I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.